What brings you out here to Milk River, Alberta?
I came here to stand up for freedom for my children and my grandchildren, and also in honor of my father, who was a 17-year-old, voluntarily went to World War II, survivor of Normandy and Dieppe, and he would want me to be standing up for our rights and our freedom.
Adam Sos here for Rebel News with an urgent update. We now have confirmed reports that the RCMP have erected yet another barricade, another blockade of sorts, actually within Milk River. So you have Milk River, the most northernly town, with a blockade in place. This blockade just outside of Milk River, and finally the now fully blockaded Coutts blockade, which has been blocked out by farmers. So it seems that this area here, this blockade just outside of Milk River, is effectively blocked in for the time being. This apparently all in response to the fact that the Coutts border has been blocked by farmers, but indeed a troubling situation. We're not sure what exactly is going to come of this. We're not sure if people can come in, can go out, but for the time being it seems we are very much locked down in no man's land. So a familiar face, Jesse Johnson of Without Papers Pizza, normally to be found in Inglewood. What are you doing down here?
Now I'm normally to be found in the middle of a ditch in the prairies, huddled around a fire with all of my brothers and sisters who demand that all vaccine mandates in Alberta be rescinded immediately.
And what do you make of the fact no announcement from Jason Kenney today, and we've just now learned mere moments ago that the farmers have once again closed the border and the blockade at Coutts is in full effect?
I think that was exactly what I was expecting. I was hoping that maybe some announcements would be made. I was at the border earlier, and we were all disappointed that he was unable to give the message to the people who demand that some answers be had.
So you mentioned you kind of take over the night shift and manage things so some of the guys can get a rest. No one can be going 24 hours. What's that been like? What's the experience here?
Oh, it's great. Everyone's smiling. They're happy, telling great stories. I just come down during the night. I'm a local in Lethbridge. I just come down during the night so John and a couple of the other guys can lay their head down and just keep an eye on the fires, keep an eye on the officers and so on and so forth. But it's great. I met so many people, smiles, stories. I love it.
Now, I don't know if you're aware, but with Jason Kenney not issuing a response, no answer coming from the government, they just closed the border again. Tractors did block off the road at Coutts. I don't know if you're aware of that, but
No,
what do you think? What do you think of that?
No, excellent. This is what we should do. We need to get the word out. People have to come down. I went to the local Safeway, and I mentioned to people, have you guys been down to the border? And they're like, no, why would I go down there? But they're hearing stuff on the main media saying that 3 cops got injured. I've been here every night since Wednesday. The cops come, they talk to us, they're civil, we talk to them, they tell us a joke, we tell them a joke, and I haven't seen or heard anything along those lines. But that's the word that I'm hearing in the town, and I suggest to them, just come out for an hour, walk around, say hello. Everyone here is more than happy to say hello, and it's great. I brought my child here. She loved it. She went go get a drink, and when everybody was around the fire, they would move out of the way, let her come in. She had pockets full of bear paws and candies, and she had 3 Gatorades given to her, and she loved it. She loved the smile. She was playing with the kids, playing in the mud like a kid does. No, I love it.
Yeah, so it's a real surprise to come down here. You hear of a protest and you think there's going to be all this angst and anger and frustration, and yet you're met with so many men and women who are here realizing we got to fight again for our freedom, but we're fighting with peace. We're fighting with coming together as a number to say to the world, you know, this has got to stop. We need to have a discussion. We need to be able to speak with our leaders. The oppression that we've been under for the last 2 years, this is giving vent to it. Now, how are we giving vent to it? We can smile at each other and have a conversation and talk and not be in fear of one another anymore, right? So, yeah, it's just been a real eye-opener. It's like coming to a family reunion, realizing all these relatives you never met before, but for a common purpose, that we got to fight for our freedom. We got to stand up for our freedom in a just way. And it's awful how it's being painted and portrayed around the world. I've lost the respect of family members, my own son who's disowned me, thinking that it's a horrible thing what we're doing. Is this a horrible thing to have gathered here of like-minded people for a common cause, for our freedom?
So we're speaking to some folks here at the RCMP blockade. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but given the lack of response from Jason Kenney, the boys down at the Coutts blockade, farmers have once again actually shut down the border. They're blocking the roads entirely due to the lack of response. What do you make of that?
I think it's the correct response. I think it's appropriate. I think no answer from our government after there was declared there was going to be an announcement. I mean, what are we left with? Look at this circus. They shut it down. I mean, this is about human rights. It's not only civil rights. This is a human rights fight, and this is important. Everyone needs to be aware and come down. And it's about the guys on the other side of that line. That why we are here in the tip of the spear and how they were treated, and now they're treating guys the same in Ottawa. It's inhumane, and we need to fight hard. We need to fight hard for this. We need to win this fight. So
what brings you out here? What's your motivation for being here?
We just want to stand up with the rights of every Canadian out here and just keep the fight going and make some change. Get some proper media coverage for what's happening to Ottawa and to here. And just keep the vibe going. It's a very friendly, loving, it's a great atmosphere. There's no problems at all.
Now, what do you make of sort of some of the media narratives out there, all the way from the media to the Prime Minister of the country, trying to categorize a violent movement, a racist movement, or a hateful movement? Have you seen any of that?
No, not at all. Actually, on the contrary, we've seen nothing but love. Canada coming together. I've never been so proud to be a Canadian before in my life. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I think everyone needs to experience this. It's great for Canada.
So maybe tell us about what your role is. Everyone's kind of taking on roles down here at the camp. What are you doing to keep this movement going?
Well, I guess I've taken probably a little bit of a leadership role. It started off as I'm the coffee guy and I was organizing the food. And but it's a movement that built so fast, and I just seen a need, and it's something I could do, so I just doing what I can do. It's something I can handle, and I just do my best.
That's awesome. That's all we can ask. What has the mood been like? Are people friendly? Are people happy? Are the lies out there from the media saying that people are angry and violent here? Are there any truth to that, or what have you seen?
Well, at 7:30 in the morning when the coffee's not ready, I got some angry protesters. Other than that, the mood is 100%. Yeah, the coffee's great, but when they're waiting, boy, I tell you. But no, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Everyone's offered to help. Like, I don't think I've made a pot of coffee today or yesterday. The guys do it for me now. And so things like that. Yeah, anything I need. I've got my mic now. I say something and I got 10 guys moving, and they're happy. They're here. They want to be here, and they want to be here for the purpose.
So if you could just tell us what brings you out here to Milk River, Alberta.
I came here to stand up for freedom for my children and my grandchildren, and also in honor of my father, who was a 17-year-old, voluntarily went to World War II, survivor of Normandy and Dieppe, and he would want me to be standing up for our rights and our freedom.
So where are you guys coming down from? You just arrived tonight. Where are you coming from?
Edmonton. We went from Edmonton to Calgary to Okotoks and then here.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. And so you were attending some of the other protests. What's the vibe like? Lots of the media out there is saying that these are violent people and they're angry people and they're extremists. What have you seen?
Oh, people are so happy. Like, it's like a big party, you know? We're all just hanging out. And people are so nice and kind, and just some of the best people that I've seen, really. It's really fun. Even the police officer on her way in, there's a little check stop, and the police officer said, yeah, it's been pretty peaceful, pretty quiet, so that's really nice. Other than the happiness and the sounds of cheering, there hasn't been much other noise. Honking as well, yeah.
Well, after the truckers proceeded to make one heck of a lot of noise standing up for their freedoms and standing against vaccine mandates, the RCMP, who have now established, as I mentioned, a secondary blockade in Milk River, have indicated that there would be no more negotiations or conversations tonight whatsoever. People would be allowed to leave, but absolutely no one would be allowed to come in. So it seems, for the night anyways, the situation has culminated in a bit of a stalemate moods are still high among the protesters here who are eating brisket, standing around fires, singing songs together, and once again they insist that they are here for the long haul. We will be back at it tomorrow once again, of course, covering this story like no one else in the world. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Sos.
Well, good news, everybody. Rebel News has decided to help us out with lawyer fees, which we really appreciate. Thank you guys. Ezra Levant just gave us a call and said that whatever fees wasn't covered by Trucker, what's the website there? Truckerlawyer.ca. So whatever's not covered, he would the shortfall he would cover himself
Personally.
So just wanted to let you guys know, really good news. We've got good guys on our side. We really appreciate it. So all funds are going to be taken care of. They're going to cover all tickets being given out, and it's all going to be crowd funded. So thank you everybody for donating. We really appreciate it.